Yes, boys and girls, welcome back to the tube. It's been a little while since I've done a little car footage, but today we're in for a push session. I'm actually going down to, it is down. I'm going down to UltraFlex Durham, which should be a pretty fun trip to train with one of my clients, Mr. Elborn. He's travelling like 2 hours from quite a lot further down south, so definitely looking forward to it. I'll probably see you in the gym next. I don't know if I'll do too much talking because I don't want to make it weird for Charlie, but hopefully enjoy the video. If you do, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in there. Right, guys, as promised, welcome into UltraFlex Durham. Like I said, I didn't want to stick a mic on Charlie and get him talking in the tube because it'd be a bit weird. So I just filmed it and welcome to the voiceover. Going to talk you through the most optimal upper session in the game. This is a push-focused upper session. So we're going to be hitting delts, chest, back, and some arms at the end. So starting off delts, we've got the Nautilus lateral raise. You can see Charlie here, he's actually quite externally rotated with his fists. So his fists are almost pointing to the sides as opposed to the top of his hand pointing up towards the sky. I usually wouldn't recommend this, to be honest, but Charlie's got some issues with his shoulder. He finds it going into that external rotated position tends to help him a little bit just to avoid pain. So like, although optimal might be fist or top of hand facing the sky, potentially not for Charlie. So we tick that off. I think it was 3 sets there. Then moved on to the very nice machine prime chest press. On these machines, if you've used prime before, you can set the load to be heavier at different positions. There's a thing called a cam, which is basically a weird shaped circle, and depending on where that cam is, it makes it heavier in the lengthened position, or heavier in the mid, or heavier in the short. Generally, on all of the prime kit, I like to load it heavier in that lengthened position. Because most of the time you're going to be strong there. In terms of the actual muscle fiber, you're always going to be strong in its like mid position. So not when it's fully stretched, not when it's fully contracted. Normally strongest when it's in the mid position for each individual muscle. But when we actually tend to apply that to an actual exercise like this chest press, your chest is getting stretched, but it's not like a ridiculous stretch. I mean, if you were to stretch your chest, your arm would be all the way back here, and we're not getting into that position on chest press. So putting in that lengthened position, I find I'm pretty strong in that lengthened position. As I press, I get a little bit weaker. And also there's a potential benefit of loading in that stretch position anyway for #optimal gains. So any press, any row, in particular rows, to be honest, I like to load it, get a big nice stretch in that lengthened position, and then drive out on it, and it drops off nicely, which helps a lot as well towards the back end of your session or the back end of that individual set. After that, we went on to another prime movement. So this is the incline plate loaded prime press. I'm not sure on the actual name. Again, we've got this loading up heavy in the lengthened and then very light in the short. To be honest, I think on this machine it drops off a little bit too much. So in hindsight, I should have loaded the mid and the lengthened pin, so the middle pin and the top pin, but I didn't because we just cracked on with the set. That is the chest work done ski for this session then. So we basically did, I think it was 3 sets on that first press and then 2 sets on the second, so 5 sets only. Then we moved on to the pull portion of the session, which again, this is a push focused upper session, so we didn't do a whole lot of work for pull. We did 3 sets on both single arm. This is a nice single arm pull down machine. I'm not sure on the exact name, but if you've not got access to this, like, just use a cable machine, set up a bench in front of it, get on the single arm cable pull downs. A lot of the time I actually prefer that, to be honest, but we wanted to play around with some cool bits of kit, show Charlie how it all works. And again, this is pretty nice. It's a nice bit of kit. General tips and cues on here. We were trying to target lat as much as possible. So we're working in that plane that gets your elbow in front of your body. You can see the elbow is staying really, really tight, which is generally quite a good idea for hitting your lats. Whenever you work in any muscle, you basically want to go, okay, where is the muscle coming from and where is it attaching to? We know that your lat is coming from up and down the mid to lower half of your spine, basically, and it attaches on your underneath your upper arm, so sort of right on your tricep here. So when you're looking at working a muscle like that, you want to go, okay, where's it attach at both ends, and can I get those two ends as far away as possible and then as close as possible together to get that full range of motion? So when you're working the lats, to get it as stretched as possible, you need to be in front of yourself and up overhead. To get it as contracted as possible, you need to be down by your side, and if anything, crunching slightly inwards. So that's what this machine allows. Not necessarily the inward part, but it definitely allows you to get a nice old stretch on the lat, and also just take away any upper back from coming in. So very nice bit of kit. After that, we went on to the arm work for the session. We did 2 arm movements. I don't actually know if I got the clip for them. Hold on. Okay, I've got a clip from Instagram, but it's blurry. So we started off with a long rope tricep press down. I'll put it in here. We're using actually 2 daisy chains here. So rather than using a rope, we're using 2 daisy chains. A daisy chain's like a climbing equipment, but they're really good for in the gym as well. They're really strong, and also they're very long. So for a tricep exercise like a tricep press down or an overhead tricep extension, it can be a really good option. Basically, the longer that rope is, the more aligned it's going to be with where the cable is pulling. So you're going to find that you're actually able to pull with the cable as opposed to out and to the side, which generally allows you to load it a little bit heavier, so you're going to be a little bit stronger, but B, it's going to be aligned a lot nicer, a lot nicer with your elbows, a lot more nicer. So that daisy chain just allows that alignment really nice. Your elbow is obviously a hinge joint, so it just bends up and down, flexion and extension. So if you can get aligned as close as that, as close as you can to the way that the cable is actually pulling, then that's a good thing. So get some daisy chains. I like a tenner, would definitely recommend. And then the final movement we did was an incline dumbbell curl for the old seps. I've been running this like literally every bicep exercise I do. I connect with it really, really well. You can get a nice stretch because you're going to be lied backwards slightly and getting into kind of a little bit of shoulder extension. So your arm's going to be slightly behind you. Your bicep crosses your shoulder joint as well. So getting that arm behind you actually gets a nice little stretch on the old bicep. And also you just get an awesome pump. So would definitely recommend. You can see I here kind of drop the seat a little bit lower to get a little bit more of an incline, a little bit more of a stretch, and a little bit more of an awesome pump. So yeah, that is the session. Thanks, Charlie, for popping down. It was or popping up for you. Not really a pop either. It was 2 hours. So appreciate you coming down, mate. Really enjoyed it. And that is it for the tube. Go try this session. Links below for some free stuff and for some coaching stuff. And I'll speak to you soon. Or I'll be back on the tube soon. Ciao.